Happy summer. Happy summer. You heard me. I said happy summer. It's the first day of summer, June 21st, 2025, if you don't know what year we're in. Yeah, finally. Summer here in the east where I am is starting to arise. Let's put it that way. And I'm very happy about it. And welcome to another catch up with Mayo. Yesterday I did a morning one out of the ordinary. It was an impromptu surprise bonus edition of Catch Up with Mayo. That's me, Mayo. And see, we got some people here already. And I'm going to be doing, as you see, an afternoon one. I usually do these lately on Saturday late afternoons, and here I am. So thank you for joining me, those people that are here already. And let's say hello to some of them, okay? If this person's still here, 50 Thunderer, what's going on? It'll be 9 p.m. here when you go live. It's 9 p.m. And I may be out and getting drunk with my brother at that time. However, if my plans change, I'll see you later. Have a great day. You too. Have a great night. Drive safely, all that stuff. Because, drinking and driving don't mix. Hi, Gary. Thank you for joining. There it is. I like that, James. James Farley said it. He said it. Joe, you wanted summer and you got it. That's right. And I'm happy because we've had a lot of lousy, cold, windy, gray, rainy, misty, foggy, ugly days here. The last 2 days here, yesterday, today, beautiful summer weather. And I love it. It was like 80 degrees. I love it. And I hear we're going to have a heat wave that's going to be 90-something degrees. Now, as much as I love warm weather and hot weather, I'm happy with, 70 to 80-ish, 80, something like that. But I'll take 95 degrees over 0 degrees or 1 degree any freaking day of the year. So, good afternoon, Ro Mo Ga. What's going on? Also, Mike Wall Jasper, hello, and Joe F. I like your name. I like your name, Joe. And Day Tripper, what's going on? How you doing there? Now, when you say is that like a movies? Is that what auteur means? Movie, like director, something like that. Nick, the CD man, what's going on? George, music for all 4 seasons. How are you? Hello, Raymond. What's doing? And also Beetle Jeb. All right, so we're starting off well, and let's see where we go from here for our time together. All right. Supposed to hit 100 on Tuesday in New Jersey. Well, 100's a bit much, don't get me wrong. Much as I love summer, I don't need 100 degrees, but I'll still take it over 2 degrees anytime, like I said. Oh, I know what they say. You can always make yourself cooler, but you can never really make yourself. I did it wrong. Damn it, I said it backwards. Can I edit this part out? Let's do it again. Oh, you can always make yourself cooler, warmer. I give up. You can always make yourself warmer, but you can't make yourself cooler. That easy. Bullshit. Anyway, took me a long time to get that out. What do you want from me? I went out today and I picked this up. I went all the way to a Barnes and Noble because I can't find. I was looking for this, and I know they don't have anything in the stores anymore. You got to order everything online, but I don't want to order things online all the time. I like to have things right now, and this is exactly what we're talking about here. So we're going to talk about this right now. I don't want to have to wait for things to arrive in the mail. I want to go out, buy it, pull it off the shelf, go home and watch it. So yes, I'm very excited about Jaws 50th. Yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Jaws coming out. That was on June 20th of 1975. Go watch my video that I did celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws. It's at my movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo. did a video on it. But anyway, yeah. So I went to the store to buy this thing, and I went. Of course, I knew they weren't going to have it. I went to a Best Buy, which now I'll call Bust Buy. It's a bust. They don't have any. I thought they would at least have, new movies that were popular. This is a popular. When I say new, I don't mean this is 50 years old. I mean like new releases of movies that are popular. And this is something they used to have at least one rack up in the front where they put the new stuff. Now it says 4K. I do not do 4K, but it says right there in the middle, Blu-ray plus Blu-ray. So I got it for the Blu-ray. And the real reason I bought this was there's a new documentary, Jaws 50. I think Jaws at 50 years. It's celebrating Jaws 50 years later, and there you have it. And I'm going to really amp up the Jaws stuff in the next few summer months, I think, especially at my movie channel. When I do my movie discussions, I'm going to try to wear my Jaws shirt with the big red letters like that across every single time I do a live movie cast over at the other channel for the summer this year. But when I was going there, I also played this. I dug this out. Well, this is from the, I believe, let me see what year this is. Hold on. 2000. This is from the 25th anniversary of Jaws. It's a CD. And I played this CD. Okay. Played this in the car. I haven't dug this out in a long time. Probably 20 years, 25 years. But this should be played every summer because Jaws is summertime. And Jaws is everywhere. You got Jaws here. Got Jaws over here. You got on the shelf over here. And you got something down here. It could be like one of those puzzles. Find all the hidden things in the puzzles. You know what I mean? So let's go back up here. Hello, Uncle Paul. What's going on? Happy Saturday. You making an early dinner? Yeah. I thought I ate early. 6 o'clock was early, I thought. You went to Barnes & Noble today as well. And by the way, I should mention, when I went to Barnes & Noble, I actually wanted to get the Steelbook edition. They didn't have any Steelbook editions left. I knew that would happen. They had one left of this, the regular edition, standard edition. So that's what I got. And yes, Jaws was on NBC last night. Yeah, but I don't watch it. I mean, God. I have, I mean, I'm glad it was on NBC last night, but, I like it better watching it on the Blu-ray. They released a reissue of Sedaka's Back yesterday. Do you like any of Neil Sedaka's music? I can't stand Neil Sedaka. He's a little too, I don't know what you call it, girly girl for me or something. There's something about him I don't really like. The way he sings, da da do da da, and all that kind of stuff. Although I really do like one song by him, and that song is called "Bad Blood." That song I like by Sedaka, but overall I can't stand him. Yeah, that's it. My Jaws cup is back there. I just sat it there just to have it somewhere in the picture. There he is. Jaws was brilliantly cast. Robert Shaw, what an amazing actor. You said you were going to get drunk with your brother. Speaking of Robert Shaw, he was known to nip now and then. So I'm wondering if the timing is good here of your comment. Where is the Richard Dreyfuss action figure? Well, it's there. It's standing over here. You can't make it out. You can't see it. Hooper. It's there. But anyway. Okay, let's see. Hello, Robbie. What's going on? Somebody just buzzed me. Who is this? Okay. Speaking of Jaws, that was my nephew. You know what? I'm glad. My nephew and I went to the movie theater 10 years ago today to see Jaws when it was for its 40th anniversary. 10 years went by like that. 10 years ago today, June the 21st, back in 2015. Can't believe how fast time goes. And two of my nephews. So one of my nephews, I went to see Jaws at the movie theater in 2015 for the 40th anniversary. Then my other nephew, I think I went in 2019 to see it with him. It was in another movie theater. And we have a kind of a joint text going on here, the three of us. And I happened to mention it. And it says, many moons ago, I'm due for a rewatch. they're due for a rewatch. So I'm going to say, well, the theaters should be coming out in the theaters. I can't text that now, although I can after I'm off here. All right, so let's go here. I was 8 years old when Jaws came out in Detroit, and I was 13. Yep, we're so lucky to have been around at a young age when that came out. It was such a big deal. Okay, hello, Rod. He says, my wife says, why won't you go into the sea with me? And I say, have you ever seen Jaws 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? I don't know. Didn't know there was a Jaws 5. Hello, Penny Lane. What's going on? Penny Lane's here watching the show. Solitary Man. When I think of Solitary Man, I think of a Neil Diamond song. I don't know. Yeah, I might be getting drunk with my brother tomorrow instead. Okay. Just be careful either day. What's up, Paul? My friend got me a huge Herzog set last year. Still making my way through his films. I love Heart of Glass. Yeah, is that the? I don't know how to say that. Aguirre and Nosferatu. Yeah. I love his version of Nosferatu. Definitely. Do you like doo-wop? If so, what songs are your favorites? Well, I do like 50s music and some doo-wop. I'll be honest with you, I like the ones, of course, that are mostly the ones you know. I don't know, In the Still of the Night, A Good Night, Sweetheart. I don't know if you call Smoke Gets in Your Eyes doo-wop, but Little Star by the Elegants. Any of the popular ones I know, but sometimes you listen to like an oldie station. I mean, a real like dedicated oldie station, not just a general commercial one. And they play these 50s music doo-wop of songs you've never heard before and I never want to hear again from the 50s. So all the big numbers, I don't know, 16 Candles, The Great Pretender, all that stuff. I love all the popular ones, the ones everybody knows. But some of that stuff that I don't know where they dig some of these up from. It's artists you never heard of that had like just one record out or something. Those I don't really need to hear again. Hello, Eric. Yeah, I just responded to a comment on you saying the same thing. You just said this in a comment, but you say you never saw Jaws in the theater. I can imagine it would be more thrilling that way. It certainly would. And my whole thing is, if you like the movie, if you like it, there's no way you can go through your life without seeing it on the big screen. And if it happens to be an audience that's into it, they're all cheering in the right spots, applauding in the right spots, laughing in the right spots, all of that, and getting startled at certain scenes, a couple of scenes, and the right spots, which they won't do anymore because we have a more sophisticated audience today. Do I really want to give the credit to people today, calling today's audiences more sophisticated or less? I don't know. But I mean, they're more jaded than we were back then. But anyway, see it on the big screen, please. When it comes out, be sure to see it on the big screen. I took my then fiance to see Jaws in 77. Then I suggested we go to the shore. Not a good idea. Yeah, well, you got to take care of her and you got to keep her safe. You know what I mean? You got to relieve her fears if she has any. And if you have any fears, she could alleviate yours. Okay. The Mothers of Inventions, Cruising with Rupert and the Jets, is a great doo-wop album. I am not a fan of Frank Zappa, if that's where we're going with that. But hey, that's okay. So is each calzone. What's going on, Laura? I say I was born in South Florida, but I don't swim in the ocean. That's their home. They don't come to my house. I don't go to theirs. Well, that's how I feel now. When I was a kid, nothing could keep me out of the ocean. I was always, when we went to the beach, I was in that ocean from the beginning when we got there till the end. Maybe I'd come out for a sandwich, little sandwiches with us and some lemonade or something. But for the most part, I was always in the water. Cruel Jaws. Is Jaws 5? Yeah. There you go. I just saw your reply to the comment now. One interesting thing you mentioned is that in 75, people weren't as desensitized as they are now. Absolutely. We've seen so much. We expect it all now. Then it was really a shock then. Yes, indeed, Matthew Smith. Of course I did. The first time I saw the The underwater boat scene when the head comes out of the hole in the boat. I jumped as everybody else did. It was an expert job by Steven Spielberg, how he timed that just perfectly. And everybody jumped. And when we went to see it again, because as a child, I saw Jaws multiple times with different cousins and friends, we kept going back. And every time we would turn around, we would turn around and look behind us because we knew what was coming, wanted to see what the audience reaction. The whole audience as one would all go, ah, and like recoil back at the same time. Would you agree that the Jaws movies got worse as they went on? The first Jaws was awesome. Jaws 2, not so good. 3, poor. And Jaws 4, what was Michael Caine thinking? Absolutely. I agree. They got worse as they went, except I would say, well, Jaws, of course, is perfect. Jaws 2, I like that Roy Scheider is in Jaws 2. It's the only thing that really makes it worthwhile for me these days. I don't like that they threw the whole story away on a bunch of kids going sailing like a teen slasher movie and all of them getting taken by the shark. That, to me, one by one, it was like watching, a teen slaughter movie. I didn't like that, but I did like Roy Scheider in it. So I Jaws 2. I like because it has the Amity Island again. They're back on the island, and you have Roy Scheider in the cast and Murray Hamilton. Again as the mayor. Jaws 3 is the worst. I think Jaws 3 is worse than 4. I think it's terrible. I saw it when it opened. I went there in 3D. Terrible 3D effects. Terrible movie all around. The only thing I say about Jaws 3 is I think Bess Armstrong is cute as hell. But other than that, I have no need for Jaws 3. And 4, I'd rather see 4 over 3 any day. I don't think Jaws 4 is good, per se, but I would rather watch 4 than 3. When you go to your 4th of July party, I hope you tape some of it because the last one was fun. Sometimes I do, and maybe I will. Hopefully we have a nice day like we've had today and yesterday. Hopefully the weather's nice on July 4. Hopefully. I saw Jaws 1 to 3. Didn't bother with the rest. 3 stunk. 2 is just okay, but cute girls. First, the best, of course. Absolutely. There were reports of people throwing up and fainting in theaters in 1974 when seeing The Exorcist. Yes, there was. Mad magazine depicted an Exorcist barf bag with Alfred E. Newman's face on it. Yeah, Exorcist was very strong stuff in 1974. Again, and it was a shock. Now, I've heard people see it for the first time, especially younger audiences. And they say, I was laughing my head off. I was laughing at it. How the hell do you laugh at The Exorcist? There's been a lot of parodies, a lot of spoofs, a lot of gags about it, and sometimes that does it to you, if you're, I don't know, making fun of it on TV, Saturday Night Live and things like that, Yeah, wise guy. Mr. Blood Vessel, the wise guy. Yeah, it was a 1973 release, but I always bust his balls. He busts mine. But I believe it came out in December, and it was a hit in 74. I'm pretty sure. Jaws is a classic. The ones that followed it were irrelevant to me. I just finished watching 28 Years Later. I think you're going to like it. Is it out? It's in the theaters? I wanted to watch the first 2 before that. Oh, happy birthday, Ray Davies, 81 today. Oh, happy birthday to Kinks Ray Davies. By the way, this is a perfect time to tell you, Matthew, that as much as I will honor and notice the birthday of Ray Davies, to me, June 21st means one thing only: the start of summer. Hooray! Roll out those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. Whatever the words are. In the good old summertime. This is for Matthew Smith, everybody. In the good old summertime. Okay. I do not like Weird Al. I mean, some of his Weird Al parodies are amusing. Some of them are better than others. But the reason I never liked them much is because my friends and I used to get together before there ever was a Weird Al Yankovic making records. And we used to do that. We used to put a cassette tape on, put the radio on, and we'd sing funny lyrics to to the radio songs. We did that before he did. There's nothing special about what he did. There's nothing talented or unique about what he did, you know. Hello, Jim. But Jim is talking to 50 Thunderer. Michael Caine bought his mother a house with his paycheck. Sometimes you just need the paycheck. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Heredity being a good horror film. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's good. And yes, I agree with you. Robert Shaw in The Sting was very good. The other movie that I thought he was very good in is The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Make sure if you see that, you see the one with Robert Shaw, and it's the 1974 version. We're going to have 105 heat index. Well, that's too hot. That's too hot. Those days of soda and pretzels and beer. I'm going to tell you something. I almost had a soda today, but I didn't. I stuck with water. I'll talk about that on my next update. I'm just like, I'm getting, whatever. I'm sticking to it. I just want things to go a little faster. That's all. Only worth celebrating the last day of that sticky, bug-infested, sweaty hellhole of a season. Don't forget, this man lives in Fort Worth, Texas, where he's being eaten by the bugs. The way Robert Shaw's character reacts to Paul Newman, who's faking he's drunk, is great. Oh, it's great. That's my favorite scene of the whole movie. My favorite scene of this thing is the whole thing, the whole poker scene. Everything to do with the train, with the scene with Robert Shaw and Paul Newman. I love that whole scene. Saturday Night Live did a good Exorcist spoof with Christopher Lee and Richard Pryor, with Lorraine Newman as the possessed girl, saying things like, your mama wears army boots. She also says your mother sews socks that smell, I think. If I remember. Yeah, I know that that gag. That was funny. The only thing special about Al is he made money. Yeah, true. He actually did it. He actually did it professionally. I didn't. It's not the worst movie Michael Caine was in. Did you ever see The Island? No, I didn't, but I heard that was pretty lousy. I think he's in a movie called The Hand also. That's pretty bad. I would recommend a Michael Caine movie. If you haven't seen it, anybody else here, well, two movies with Michael Caine. One of them is Dressed to Kill with Angie Dickinson. Dressed to Kill. The other one is called Death Trap. Those are my two favorite Michael Caine movies. Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 is probably Robert Shaw's best performance. So that's a tough one. I don't know if I'd give him a better performance in that than he has here. I think Jaws might be better. Hello, Harold. And yes, indeed, Blood Vessel. Pelham 1, 2, 3 really captures 1970s New York. I agree with you. When's my birthday? I ain't telling you. No, it's a ways away yet. Let's put it that way. The cast in Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3 was one of those Who's Who casts. I can watch that movie every now and then. Yeah, it's a good cast. Hector Elizondo is always great. Martin Balsam, Walter Matthau. Right now, I'm drinking Pure Leaf unsweetened cold tea. I would check that label, the ingredients. The whole, I don't know what that is. Initial poker scene on the train. I agree. George Roy Hill made some greats. I liked his directing. I also liked Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid that George Roy Hill made. Spa Guy was here in Augusta doing an Elvis vlog. Elvis performed at the Bell Auditorium in '56 and at Luigi's afterwards. Okay, are you picking up? Oh, hi, John Alelo, by the way. Are you picking up the new 5 CD box set Deep Purple made in Japan? Are you kidding? I have no need for Deep Purple. The only thing, I think they do a song Hush that I like and Smoke on the Water. I'm not interested in Deep Purple, John, but thanks for asking. Richard Pryor as the young priest on Saturday Night Live skit. says he loses his temper, says she's talking about my mama. Educating Rita, another Michael Caine good movie. How about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin? Oh yeah, Water. There's a movie called Water with Michael Caine. George Harrison's got a presence in that movie. Got music in there. I saw The Sting in the theater. That is a really great movie throughout, full of great characters. I just saw it recently. Last year it was back at the movie theater. Yeah. The tour Walter Matthau takes the Japanese tourists through the control station is classic. Yeah, he goes, pay no attention to them. They don't speak a word of English. He goes, right this way, dummies. Follow me, dummies. Come on, dummies. Like that. And then he talks to them like that. And then later on, when they're saying goodbye, they say, thank you very much for a most enlightening tour, Lieutenant. And then Walter Matthau feels like the dick that he is because they understood him all the time. Mr. Blood Vessel's thinking about getting that Deep Purple box set. Haha, I forgot the movie The Hand. It played at the movie theater where I worked during high school. Did you ever listen to Dr. Demento? Heard of him, never listened to it. I remember hearing a song, Fish Heads. I think it was written by Billy Mumy, one M in the middle, M-U-M-Y, of Lost in Space. Yes, hello. Yes, Jaws is definitely in my top 10 movies of all time, without a doubt. It could even be top 5. Yeah, Death Trap is great. Christopher Reeve, am I right? Yes. What I like about Death Trap, I'll never forget one time I was dating a girl in 1982, and we were taking a walk on a beautiful night, and it was the movie theater marquee was up, and it said, sneak preview tonight, Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve. Didn't say the name of the movie. We didn't know what it was about. It could have been any topic. It was Death Trap, but we didn't know until we got into the theater. And it was one of the best movie experiences I ever had because it was kind of like a whodunit, and things kind of you never thought you knew how things were going to pan out. Things kept switching around. Just when you thought things were going to play this way, they play out that way. And it was a great movie to stumble onto. Did you hear about Robert Shaw's son in a Broadway play called The Shark is Broken? Yes, I did. And they do a play and a parody about what was going on when they were making Jaws with the faulty shark. In fact, Robert Shaw's son is featured in the 50th anniversary documentary that's out now. It's called, I think, Jaws at 50, something like that. Jaws at 50, the definitive inside story. Yeah, and there's a scene or two from that play in that documentary. I was late for a date because taking a Pelham 123 was on Channel 5 in New York again. Not a good idea. Well, that's a good place to see it in New York television. I didn't go on a diet. I went on a lifestyle. No, but I did not. That was not the date. No. Nope. I was thinking of you today a little bit about, whenever I'm eating meat and stuff, I think, carnivore thing and all that, I think Rhino should release Deep Purple's Fireball. This is a great underrated third album. My original sounds great, but I would be curious to see what Kevin Gray can do with it. And yes, indeed, you're right about this, Harold. Jaws is coming back to theaters in August. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I've seen it in the theater. I saw it in the theater many times when it was out in the 1970s. And when they brought it back, it was out in 1975. And I saw it like about 4 or 5 times then, if not more. And then it was reissued in 1977, I think it was, or 77 or 78. I get them mixed up. Anyway, and I saw it again in the theater when it came back. And I got to see it in 2015 for its 40th anniversary, and I got to see it in 2019 somewhere. So I've seen it in the theater a number of times, and that's a movie I think is always going to be revived in the movie theater because Jaws, being a big out on the ocean landscape kind of movie should be seen on the big wide screen. Okay. Doesn't George Ringo and Eric Clapton do a song with comedian Billy Connolly in Water? Yes, there's a good song. I like that. So I think it's called Freedom, actually. I think the song's called Freedom, and it's a better song named Freedom than McCartney's Freedom, I think. There you go. (1975 to '89) was a period of great blockbuster movies. Yeah, Death Trap was filmed like a play as well. Yeah, it is. I think it was a play. I think Death Trap was a play. Death Trap really good with all its twists and turns. I keep trying to get Tom Hagnotti to watch that Death Trap. I think he'll like it, but you never know. What's your favorite Looney Tunes character? Oh, Bugs Bunny by far. Most people seem to pick Bugs Bunny, but my favorite has always been Daffy Duck. No, Bugs Bunny all the way. I think part of the song Hush sounds like part of the song A Day in a Life. Mr. Mayo, Beatle George on stage with Deep Purple, 85 in Australia. While George was on vacation, played Lucille. George Harrison neighbor was John Lord of Deep Purple. He is the keyboard player. There you go. Thank you. I remember they used to show Gimme Shelter on Channel 5 a lot. I saw Gimme Shelter on TV. I remember that first time I saw it. Gimme Shelter, very good Rolling Stones documentary film. Midnight Cowboy was directed by a British director, yet he filmed New York circa 69 better than any film I can think of, John Schlesinger. It just so happens Midnight Cowboy is playing at this independent theater I go to. I only saw it once, didn't think as much of it as everybody raved, so I didn't see it again on the big screen. Why do you think the Beatles don't release the mono box and the rooftop concert on iTunes or CD? They don't like money? Well, they can't win either way. If they don't put it out, people say, well, what don't you want to make money? Are you people afraid to make money? And then if they put it out, they say, well, all they're doing is trying to do a money grab and take our money. So they can't really win either way. So, hello, how you doing, Yorkie girl? Thanks for saying hello here. When we're talking about Michael Caine, of course, we think of the Muppets Christmas Carol. Correction, you think of the Muppets Christmas Carol. I do not. The August Jaws re-release is strange. Wonder why they didn't release it this weekend. I was wondering that too. I thought maybe because summer vacations and things like that. I heard like August 29th they're going to do it, and maybe they're going to try to do like Labor Day weekend or something. I don't know. I think there's a strategy as to why they're waiting till the end of August for it. I agree on the song Freedom. The Water song is much better than Paul's 2001 Rubbish. I really like in the movie Water, the song Freedom that's sung there, I like better than the Paul version, McCartney version. 92 degrees here in Michigan today, working on the house and had to come in to cool off. I'll take this heat over the cold any day. You got it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Lots of good movies were made in the 60s as well. Also, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. Midnight Cowboy, one of my favorite movies of all time. You're going to need a bigger boat. I have a shirt that says that. I'm going to be wearing that one too. It says right up there, you're going to need a bigger boat. Got to get that. Have you ever seen the Sharknado movies? Nope. Never have. Hello, James. What's going on, James? There was a spoof song depicting each of the Beatles singing a verse. The George part starts out with his "I'll sing if you want me to," or "I won't sing if you don't want to." Did you ever hear that song? Never did. There's a lot of things here never heard. Okay, one of my favorite all-time favorite movies, Muppets Christmas Carol. The theme song for Midnight Cowboy is iconic, wasn't it? Rated X back in the day. Beats me. 90 degrees in Iowa. It's a good thing, Matthew Smith, you're not in Iowa right now. John Schlesinger was a fantastic filmmaker. Many of my favorite films were directed by him. I recently saw Darling on the big screen at the BFI. In 2014, for the first year or so, EMI did not sell as many mono box sets as they wanted. I remember seeing them on a skid at Costco for $400. Can you imagine? Cheap, cheap, cheap. Well, the Paul song "Freedom" is probably my least favorite McCartney tune. Well, there's a lot that I like less than that, even though I don't like "Freedom." I think I'll watch The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 tonight. Good move. Good move. Roy Scheider made a good run of films. I like Roy Scheider, and I always say I'm very happy I got a chance to meet the man. Very briefly, in New York City, I think the year was 1994, thereabouts. He was doing an interview or something, and I went down there, and when he came out of the interview, he came down the elevator, and he came out of the elevator, and there were about three people there, me and two other people, and I had an 8x10 photo of him. I wish it was from Jaws, but it was a picture from a movie called 52 Pickup. But anyway, he gave me a beautiful signature, and he signed our autographs, and that was that. We didn't have time to talk. Do you think that had John and George lived, would the Beatles have reunited for a concert? Um, I, I don't, I try not to be like a phony optimist, but in the case, whenever somebody asks me this, I kind of think that for some reason they might have done something for Live Aid. I don't know why I think that, but I just feel like they might have done something, an appearance for Live Aid. That's all. You're going to need a bigger boat. That's what she said. I can't imagine a Jaws spoof where the shark causes the Titanic sinking. Clapton tells the story of McCartney backstage at the post 9/11 memorial concert. Clapton was going to play with Paul, and Paul was teaching him the just written Freedom. Yeah, it's kind of a funny scene. It looks like Clapton's trying to be polite, but he doesn't think it's much. I watched about 20 minutes of a Sharknado. The movie was so idiotic, I turned it off. How do you rank Fleetwood Mac album Tusk? It could be better than Rumors. No way, no way. I was just talking about Rumors the other day with my girlfriend. Rumors to me, after the Beatles, I might pick Rumors as the next best album ever made. After I get rid of all the Beatles albums, Rumors to me is one of the best, most perfect album, start to finish, ever made. Tusk has its moments, but it's a weak album to me as a whole. Now I know a lot of people like Tusk very much. I like the album Mirage by Fleetwood Mac better than Tusk. Midnight Cowboy was a rated X for one scene, the movie theater scene. Okay, got it. 90 is cooler than where I am, unfortunately. I got one word for you, Matthew. You always complain about the heat in Fort Worth, Texas. One word is simple: move. Seriously, why don't you move to not Alaska? That's a little too extreme. Why don't you move to Maine? Maine is a lot of snow and cold there. You can freeze your onions off there all you like. Clapton says to McCartney, "You're going to introduce a new song to 100,000 people live." 93 right now in Illinois. Marathon Man is great. Yes, I like the movie Marathon Man quite a bit, although it never makes that much sense to me. It's not perfect, but I do like the movie quite a bit. I just listened to Pink Floyd's 1994 The Division Bell last night. It's a good album. Okay. I have a Western channel. Lately, they have had movies by Willie Nelson. I really enjoy his performance. Darling, Far from the Maddening Crowd, A Kind of Loving, and Marathon Man, Schlesinger's finest work. And Midnight Cowboy, of course. 52 Pickup is from 85 or so, right? I think so. supposed to be a good movie, but I haven't seen it. I know Anne Margaret is in it. So if Anne Margaret and Roy Scheider are in it together, I gotta put that on my must-watch list. Remind me, because I'll forget. A Tusk, if you took both albums and picked the best tracks and ended up with one LP, it would be excellent. Mirage is really good, Fleetwood Mac. I agree. The answer to this is no, I have not. If there is such a movie. The thought of moving is in my mind. Consider Maine a beautiful, beautiful place. If it wasn't for the fact that I can't stand snow and cold, I would want to go to Maine, probably, which is kind of obvious. If you don't like cold or snow, don't go. Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" is in the top 5 greatest albums. I saw a Ringo video with him confirming that John did say "Shoot Me on Come Together." Yeah, no, I heard of that. I learned that from I think Mark Lewison's book, The Complete Beatle Chronicle, or whatever it was called, where he went to listen to all the studio sessions. And originally, you could hear him say that. I mean, that's what he's saying, supposedly, but I don't know if it's the bass or something comes over him that you can't hear it. 52 pickup and the 7-Ups, aside from Jaws, is Scheider's best movies. They are finally coming out with the sequel to 7-Ups called the Coca-Colas. Yes, indeed. Yeah, the 7-Ups, I still say this, the 7-Ups, in my opinion, has the greatest car chase ever. Better than the car chase in Bullet. And yes, blasphemy. I know it's going to be blasphemy. Better than the train scene following the train in French Connection. I think the 7-Ups has the greatest car chase ever. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Let me know what you think. I remember the shock of seeing it the first time. Indeed, you never want to go to the dentist again. Never want to go to it. Okay, I just want to put this up here. Gloria says, my brother loved to watch you, Mr. Mayo. He loved the Beatles, David Bowie, Prince, ELO. He passed this Thursday. He truly loved music and loved to collect vinyl. Well, my heart goes out to you. My condolences, Gloria, to the family. Hopefully he's in a better place right now. And thank you so much for saying hello, telling us. I was hoping that the Beatles would secretly get back together to work on an album or EP. I can imagine them sending each other cassette tapes and demos. I'm still glad they never did, because even though the fans want it, I think isn't it a great thing that the Beatles never got sour, that they never put out anything that was a dog album or anything. I mean, isn't that good that they were probably kind of perfect for the most part? Musically perfect pretty much in the catalog department, the recorded material. Okay, I met the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Gunnar Hansen, who played Leatherface. It was at a comic movie shop signing he did. We watched part of the movie, and Gunnar answered questions about it. He signed an 8x10 black and white for me. He signed a color photo for me. Yeah, no, just playing. No, but I met Gunnar Hansen too at a horror convention. I think 1990. 1990, a long time ago. And he signed a Leatherface picture. I did actually see the pillbox is still there, but I it's a pillbox, but people say it's really for weed. That thing, it's really to stash weed in. But anyway, be that as it may, whenever I get around to doing another record store video, I got a funny thing about that to include in there. But I'm just not at the record store as much as I used to be. And even when I am at the record store, there's not as much going on to record as there used to be. Who's your favorite solo Beatles career? Although John is my favorite Beatle, my favorite solo career is Paul, simply because he's got so much material. You know. Thoughts on the film Bedazzled by Dudley Moore and Peter Cook. My thoughts are Raquel Welch was hot. uh, Yoko should be getting lots of praise because, believe it or not, Yoko brought out the best in the Beatles writing songs. Well, in a way, I think she brought out the best in John anyway, songwriting. I think she really helped John with songwriting. But let's see. I'm not a big horror film fan, but Texas Chainsaw is the best ever I have seen. Meeting Gunnar Hansen was great, and it was definitely him. I asked about movie scenes as we're watching them. Very good. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a disturbing movie, but as a horror movie, it's very good. One of the best horror films ever made. The original first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Bob Dylan wrote Leopard Skin Pillbox. Yeah, Leopard Skin Pillbox ad. I can't imagine the song Anthony's Pillbox Frankenstein Face. That's a great idea, Eric, for a sequel to Dylan's song. 98 degrees in Tucson. It's been over 100 this past week. Think it's going to be another record summer. Texas Chainsaw director Tobe Hooper's next movie was Poltergeist. Tarantino calls Texas Chainsaw a perfect film. Well, it is perfect. It is. It's a 4-star. It's a 4-star. What do you call it? 4-star. I don't want to say slasher. Not really. It's a disturbing, upsetting, intense horror ride. It's a 4-star film. I never saw Runaway Train, I'm afraid to say. Blood Vests and I agree. Talking about the 7-Up's car chase. He says, you're right. That was the ultimate car chase on film. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love it. And it ends so good, too, doesn't it? Let's not tell people the ending of the car chase, but the ending of the car chase is very, very good. There's some condolences for Gloria Gomez. The Blues Brothers car chase is pretty good. How is it that I've never seen the Blues Brothers yet? I don't know. Tarantino had a pretty awesome car chase scenes also. I remember in Death Proof. I remember one in Death Proof. Gloria says thank you. I'll have to watch the 7-Ups. I'm curious to see that car chase. Now, for the record, I don't love the movie. I find that another movie that's kind of, I don't know, convoluted and hard to follow, but it doesn't matter. I just take out once in a while, I take out my DVD of it. And do I still have it up there? I don't even know. And I like to watch the car chase. I'll put that car chase on. Beatles, Jam, and Sex Pistols. Got it right. Wow the world. Go out on top, never go back. Free as a bird and all aside. Is it Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon? And if you play it while watch Wizard of Oz, it's supposed to fit perfectly. I've heard that. More condolences from John. Gunnar was a great guy. Hey, Joe, I learned a lot about the making of the movie talking to him. I can't remember. I met him in 1990. I think I just went, hi, how you doing? I got his autograph. But he was said to be a nice guy. Haven't sighted Elvis since that moment at the record store some years back. No. In case you don't know, I met the real Elvis Presley. He was, I don't know if he's alive now, but he was alive then. Elvis actually came to my record store. Watch my video. Elvis is alive and well and shopping at the record store, I think it's called. Who ended up with the Frankenstein with the eyebrows? Mikey Arugula bought it. Just for a laugh, I think. I don't know about this. If Woodland Goblin is here, he's under another name. I don't know. Currently watching reruns of the Monkees TV show brings back a lot of memories. You know, it's funny. As much as I like the Monkees records, their songs, their music, I never really loved the show. I have not seen the Gumball Rally. Back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Low budget and so well shot. Gunnar mentioned all those bones you see on the floor of the family were real. Yeah. The first time I ever saw that movie was on a really old, rundown, crusty VHS worn copy. And it was so effective. I think it's the kind of movie that actually works better if it looks like an old found footage movie or somebody's sick, twisted, personal home movie film footage from their collection. It's a movie that if it looks too slick, too shiny, it loses something. I've never seen The Wizard of Oz with Dark Side of the Moon. I might watch it sometime. How do you rank Dog Day Afternoon, the movie with Al Pacino, one of his best movies? Let's put it this way. I want to see another viewing of it. I've seen it once. I've never loved it. I like Al Pacino, but I've never loved that movie. But it was good. It was decent, but I want to see it again. I think, no, I've not seen The Italian Job. I think my girlfriend's always trying to get me to watch a remake, I think. I think there's a remake, right? I am honestly surprised how many people in the comments of that Elvis video take it so serious. I checked it out again recently. Yeah, it's funny. People take it so seriously. They think I'm being serious. When I say, yeah, I really met Elvis, that's how I handle that. I've been handling that video now. That is one of my top watch videos. I have about 2,500 videos. And the video of Elvis coming into my record store is probably in the top three, one of my most watched videos. And every time they say, that's not really Elvis. Come on, that's not Elvis. And I go, it was. Absolutely it was. I deny it. And that's the fun I have with that thing. I just constantly play like I believe it's him. For Dog Day Afternoon, the producers did a deal with Elton John to include his song from a recent album at the time, Tumbleweed Connection. Right. And that's the song that opens the film. Got one for you. The same guy in 7-Up's chase scene was also in the chase scene in Bullet, both driving the lead car. I know the guy you mean. Yeah. My favorite car chase movies when I was growing up were Dirty Mary and Crazy Larry and Freebie and the Bean, both of which I've heard of but never seen. There's a lot of movies out there, folks. Millions. Okay, Dark Side of the Moon, etc. I guess you could play it twice during Wizard of Oz. What about The Hills Have Eyes, the original one? I saw the midnight movie around 79 or so. Now, there's a case where I didn't get to see The Hills Have Eyes until much later, maybe the 1990s or something. And I thought it was so overrated. What was so scary about it? It didn't do anything for me. I think I saw The Hills Have Eyes remake, and that was a rare exception where I actually liked the remake better than the original. As a matter of fact, the same thing holds true for the movie Last House on the Left. I didn't get a chance to see that early. I saw it late in life. And I thought the original 72, Last House on the Left, was tame by today's standards. I like the remake of that better, too. If we're talking about the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I've heard that it's pretty good, the remake. But when it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I believe it should have been one and done. Because I hate Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And I saw a couple of the other ones, Leatherface and the New Generation or Next Generation or something. No. I believe it should have been one and done with the 74 Tobe Hooper one. Okay. Thoughts on colorized black and white movies? This question comes up from time to time. Generally speaking, I'm a purist. If a film was made in black and white, leave it in black and white. Don't colorize anything. But as colorization has gotten better and better and better, if you can do the colorization to a point where nobody can tell it's colorized and it looks really like authentic, then I say for some movies, I wouldn't mind checking it out just to see how it plays, as long as we always have the black and white originals. So I'm getting a little more lenient with it. But I think colorizing black and white movies generally, as a principle, is wrong. Let's see. Oh, tonight, Dog Day Afternoon is on tonight. Well, I don't think I'm going to watch it. I might watch the documentary again. Documentary of the 50th anniversary of Jaws. I might watch it again with my girlfriend, maybe. Dirty Mary is a fun 70s movie, worth checking out. He has to watch Svengoolie. Nope. I only watch Svengoolie depending on what movie is being played. And tonight, my short-term memory fails me again because just before I went on the air, I looked to see what was on with Svengoolie, and I said, "Oh, I'm not interested in that," and I can't remember. Short term. It's only about an hour ago or an hour and a half ago. But I know they're playing Day of the Dead at 10:30, which I do like. Day of the Dead. Oh, okay, you're referring to the other movie. Okay, too much information at once here for me to gauge. 80s colorization was pretty hideous indeed. Yeah. I enjoy your live streams with other guests, but on Saturdays, I think this format works best. Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, some people like it with other guests, some people like it just with me. I try to do a little of both. By the way, that's a good time to say, please make sure you watch Monday nights. I do over at my other channel right here, Mr. Cinemayo below. We do movie talk. We talk only about movies, TV, usually movies. Over there, we do them Monday nights live. So check that out, please. Mr. Mayo, you're keeping up with all the people on this live chat. Great job. Thank you, John. It's not easy, but I try to do it. One of the things I hate as a person who occasionally goes on live streams, and some of you out there, I'm sorry, nothing personal, but you know who you are, or some of you, they spend so much time, like I'm doing right now, on one comment or one question that they're not cognizant of the fact that other questions and comments are going by, so they fall way behind. And sometimes if I ask a question or I make a comment, it takes like 25 minutes for them to get to it. I figure by that time I'm out of here. So there you go. Doing well. Hope you are too. The little girl who lives down the lane. Yes, I remember seeing that movie. Yeah. I just remember the end of it or whatever she did to the bad guy. I remember that. But other than that, I don't recall much about it. All right. All right. So now, speaking of comments going by, now I get a break. All right. Hey, people. Thank you, everybody. Please give a thumbs up, give a like. It'd be much appreciated if you would care to just do a thumbs up. I always say, if you can't stand me, don't give me a thumbs up. I don't give a shit. But if you do like me, help me out and give a thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, 50 Thunder. Yeah, I'm really working to try to do more content over there on the movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo. So there you go. Will you ever go back to doing your early morning shows every day? I always say in some cases, anyway. Does that make any sense? I always say in some cases. No, never say never all the time. Okay, but I would say I'm not really. I don't want to go on every morning. I think something is lacking when you go on every day. I think it's more special if you go on once a week. I think people I hope look forward to me going on Saturdays. They know I'm going to be at once a week. It's the big day if they're interested. I did go on yesterday in the morning, though. Sometimes I will do morning. I will be on in the morning. Now and then you'll see me, but it'll be more. I think it'll be more of a surprise. Or maybe I'll announce it in advance sometime. But some Buster Keaton and Laurel and Hardy silent shorts have been colorized well. Oh, I don't want to see them color. I believe they've been done well, but I don't really care. But let me read it's only fair that I read the end of that. I'm kind of a purist, but if adding color is what it takes to get people watching them, then it's good. No, Eric, you and I can respectfully agree to disagree on that, I hope, because don't dumb things down to today's stupid world. Don't dumb things down for them. Let them rise in sophistication to the past. That's how I look at it. There we go. What's up with the Mets? Losing 6 in a row. I haven't watched a game all year, Blood Vessel. But I'll tell you this, it doesn't surprise me. The Mets are doing it again, huh? They're breaking hearts again, huh? Fooling us again. That's why I don't get invested, because they suck. I love the Mets, but they suck. So what do we got here? The only water that I drink is Poland Spring. I mean, if I'm somewhere where they don't have Poland Spring and it's Desante or one of those other bottled water. But of course, now all they do is talk all about how there's plastic and everything. And I drink out of a plastic cup anyway, so I'm doomed. But anyway, so there you go. There is no way in hell I'll see any of the other versions of Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. No way. You know, there's some cases where I'll see a remake for one reason or another, for whatever that reason may be. It's up to me, and I can't always say one size fits all occasions. There's some movies I don't mind seeing remakes of, but when it comes to Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, the '74 original is so perfect and so great, so gritty. I don't want to see any other ones. Dukes or Hellmann's, Miracle Whip, Kraft Miracle Whip. Okay, now I want to know again. I've talked about this a lot. If I have to pick between, with Mayo, I'm going to pick Hellmann's. How's that? I want to know if anybody else here eats Miracle Whip and likes it. I know it's like 1 out of 10 people like it. I don't know what's wrong. If people don't like Miracle Whip, they're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. I mean, look, taste is all subjective, right? But let's find out. What's a Ringo album that people tend to dislike that you enjoy? Mine personally is Ringo the Fourth. Well, the Bad Boy album. The Bad Boy album is a lot better than people give it credit for if they listen to it with an open mind and not expect a disaster. I've seen some Buster Keaton, but I don't recall seeing Railroader. Okay, my mom went and saw Ringo Starr All-Star Band last night. She said it was by far the best concert she'd ever been to. That is pretty amazing, considering that in a short while from now, a couple of weeks or what it is, Ringo is going to be 85. Can you believe it? John's birthday in October, so we should get something from Sean, an official release of sometime in New York City, a 1-to-1 first week of September. All we know is that Sean has said that he's going to put out the 1-to-1 box set that's going to have all of the music, all of the concert footage and the audio and video. So that's all we know so far. We don't know whether sometime in New York City is going to be included or not in there. You and Danny were really hysterical with those morning shows, but you do a great job by yourself. Well, thank you. But as I say, I think some of those shows with Danny in the morning were a lot of fun. They were always a lot of fun. And I wouldn't mind doing one with him now and then. If he's listening to this, I don't mind doing one with him now and then. Okay, very occasionally. But to me, they got to be too much. And it got a little too negative, a lot of it, honestly. But it still was fun. Hello, Nicholas. The remake of Pelham with Travolta is okay. And James Gandolfini was in it? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. What part did he play in it? I have no interest in seeing the new Superman movie. I'm okay with George Reeves and Christopher Reeve. I'm done. I prefer Miracle Whip. There's one. Miracle Whip is the best. There's another one. Miracle Whip is all I ate as a kid. Of course, everybody just agreeing with me. I like what I'm hearing, but I love Miracle Whip. On a hamburger, mayo, ketchup, mustard. Yes. No. I could eat any of those. On a hamburger, ketchup. Usually ketchup, but ketchup and mayo is fine. Once in a blue moon, I forget what place it used to be years ago that would have mustard on there too, and that was fine. I see what you mean about not dumbing things down, but sometimes that's what it takes to get some people to take that first step, increasing their sophistication. Then I think it's okay if they do that. Well, I don't know how I feel about that. I know what you mean, at least get them watching, but they're not really watching a movie. It's really, I'm trying to put myself in this position where if I was younger today and I was not weaned on black and white movies, then would I be able to tolerate them? It is very, very low class. Any of you out there listening to me, I'm not going to take this back. It's very low class, and it's very unsophisticated and dumb if you can't enjoy a movie just because it's in black. Oh, it's in black and white. I'm not watching it. That is pathetic. And I will always say that. Now I have a jump on that because at the time I grew up in the late '60s and early '70s, there were a lot of black and white television, a lot of black and white movies. Okay. I only eat Miracle Whip. It has the same initials as me. I love Miracle Whip. Wow, people love it. Buku's of Blues, a good Ringo album. I used to make sandwiches with Miracle Whip, but I like Hellman's maybe a little better. Well, the reason I like Miracle Whip is because it's got a little sweet and tangy taste to it. Because there is, I hate to say it, is Mix 64 out there, 1964. It does have high fructose corn syrup in it. And although I'm not eating sugar, that's where I get my sugar from these days. If I spread a little Miracle Whip on something, that's as much sugar as I have these days. You know. What do you think was Paul's best cover art for his albums over the years? I love the Back to the Egg cover. I love Band on the Run cover. I love Red Rose Speedway cover. Those are three that pop into my mind. I seem to remember you had 10K subscribers a couple of years ago. I think that was a long time ago. Now you have almost 16. Are you aspiring to 20K in the future? If it happens, it'll happen. You know, everybody likes to get a lot of subscribers, but at the end of the day, it's not really about how many subscribers you have. People like subscribers because it shows, you know, like if you look at somebody's name, it tells you how many subscribers they have. But what's really most important is how many views you have. How many views do you have? I have like 7.5 million views. You know, it's not so much the subscribers, it's the views. You know, if it told you if the views were up top, that would be impressive. You know what I mean? So, hey, look, I always like to get subscribers, but the truth of the matter is, you know, just because you have them doesn't mean they stay. You know, I may have near 16,000 soon, but out of the 16,000, maybe there's only like 50 people that regularly watch or respond. Well, I don't know. There's probably more that watch. I'm talking about that comment. So there it is. Gandolfini played the commissioner in that movie. Buster Keaton's Railroader was a color short. Okay, filmed in '64. All right, Buster Keaton rides again, which is great. You got a favorite Beatles or solo Beatles live album? There's not really many Beatles live albums, so I'm going to go with Live at the Hollywood Bowl. Well, now that you're saying live, I prefer the BBC to Live at the Hollywood Bowl. As far as solo albums go, I like one by Paul in 2007 called The Amoeba Gig. I like that. You know. I actually don't own, believe it or not, I do not own a copy of Paul's Off the Ground, The Complete Works. I keep thinking that as soon as I buy it, they're going to put out an extended version officially. Well, it is official. Somebody corrected me on that. I said that Off the Ground, The Complete Works was not an official release. I thought it was bootlegged. And people are telling me, no, that's an official release, either Germany or Japan or something. So there you go. I haven't had horseradish in a long time, but when I do, it's good. Do I prefer subtitles or dubbed movies? Well, that's a good question. Depends on the movie. Let's use Godzilla as an example. There are a lot of old Godzilla movies from the 60s and 70s that are a lot of fun dubbed in English. They're just fun, silly fun. And then there are some, the more serious ones I prefer subtitles. I'm finding out these days, though, that I actually, when I watch a movie, even in English audio, I put the subtitles on anyway because it helps me know what they're saying. Because if you're like me, sometimes you miss a word, or maybe the volume is not loud enough to dialogue. Gandolfini played the Martin Balsam part, mayor or commissioner, I forget. Well, if he's played, I don't, I didn't know. I like James Gandolfini in The Sopranos. I didn't realize he was in the Pelham 1, 2, 3. That makes me a little more interested in seeing it. Wings Over America's Best Live Album, and it's the only Beatles album I don't own. Personally, I only watch films in the original black and white. There are plenty of people out there who don't go to foreign films because they don't want to read the subtitles. Dubbing is horrible. You know what I think it is with yeah, dubbing is well, dubbing's not always horrible. It's not. I mean, it depends what you're watching. But I've seen some movies that I think work better dubbed. But if I tell you one, you're going to laugh. It's a Japanese Godzilla movie, but well, I say Godzilla movie. Godzilla's not in it. It's one of those Toho movies, and it's called King Kong Escapes. I've seen King Kong Escapes in its original 1960s Japanese language, and I've watched it in English, and I like the English one by far. The evil doctor in there, Paul Frees. Remember Burgermeister Meisterburger? His voice is used, so he's like Kong, Kong dig, Kong dig. He's got this so much better with his voice. If they release Lennon's Sometime in New York City album with a song, and I'm sure you know which one, lyric will it be omitted? I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know how they're going to find their way around it if that should happen. But they better not. They should never let that keep them down. It's ridiculous. The song is an innocent song. It's not making fun of anybody. It's speaking on behalf of women. It's a feminist song, pro women. And it's not putting anybody down of any type. 71 watching and 4 likes. Are you serious? Come on, people. Get those likes going. I mean, you can only say it so many times, right? How many times can I say it? Always wondered what John knew about Dovetail Join, blah, blah, blah. I have no insight. I don't mind subtitles. I actually watch movies in English with the subtitles on. That's what I'm saying. So album, but Egypt Station has a great cover. Best is probably McCartney 2, which is a great album. I do like the McCartney 2 cover also. Well, you mentioned it, but I do not like the Egypt Station cover. It doesn't do nothing for me. I know what you mean, Blood Vessel. It's better to watch a film subtitle so you can hear the actual voices of the actors with their inflections, and that gives you the fullest experience. It depends on the movie. I don't care what you say. Okay? I'm sorry, but like, again, that movie King Kong Escapes, I know we're not talking about great art here. We're not talking about Fellini or Bergman or something like that. But what I'm saying is the actor who plays the villain, the Japanese actor, his voice, not talking about his language, I'm talking about the sound of his voice, the tone of his voice is not very sinister. It's much more sinister and effective with the Paul Frees voice doing it in English. I'm telling you. I know those examples are few and far between, but okay. You think that the Star Club take that Peter Jackson's been supposedly working will ever see the light of day? That nobody knows for sure. Peter Jackson's trying to work on those and trying to get something done with them. He's experimenting. He bought them. He bought the Star Club tape so that he could play around with them. And maybe, I think the idea was Apple said, well, see what you can do with these and get back to us if you want. Like they weren't interested. But if he could do anything with them, then get back to us, Paul's Russian album is a studio album. And it's, my least favorite of his. Okay, the official release is in Belgium. Off the Ground at Complete Works. Thank you. Let's see if I remember that. Okay, must be tough to host guests and balance their views with your show's standards, keep things flowing, and still stay true to your vision without shutting them down completely. Yeah, it is tough sometimes, but not all the time. But that comes with the territory. It's part of the game. Okay, Randy Newman's song Rednecks has the same problem. You have to understand the spirit in which these songs were written. Fair. Grand Illusion is a great French film, 37, which takes place in World War I. At one dramatic point late in the film, Eric von Stroheim starts speaking to Jean Gabin in English. I mean, there's lots of movies that most of the time, if I'm watching a foreign film, I'll leave it I'll leave it in its original language and use the subtitles most of the time. But the only thing about subtitles is nobody, well, comes there to read a movie. And let's face facts. If your eyes are down here at the bottom of the screen, they're not up here where the action is in the movie. You're looking down there reading, and maybe they're doing something up here that you're not seeing because you're too busy reading. So that doesn't work either. They say that it's more pure to watch subtitles. And I agree. I'm a subtitles fan. Don't get me wrong. As I say, most foreign films, I'm perfectly fine with subtitles. But I also understand that you're not seeing the whole picture. You can't possibly see the whole picture all the time if you're reading. Yes, indeed. Paul Frees also did the John and George voices in the cartoons. They have reissued Sometime in New York City several times, and it's still available in CD and vinyl with the word "not deleted." There you go. There you go. Dubbing is fine for Godzilla, kung fu movies. Exactly, like kung fu movies. I don't watch many, but aren't they a hoot watching badly dubbed? Not so much for Kurosawa, French films, etc. I would agree with you. Hello, Marcus. So many young people on TikTok hate Lenin for the use of that word. You can tell them that it's a pro-feminist song, but they still refuse to believe it because they're morons. Okay, not everybody's a moron on it. Not everybody. That's why I don't do TikTok. Okay, so come and get me. I agree that in the case of not so serious dramas like Godzilla, dub voices can make it more fun. There you go. Do I have a favorite Beatles outtake? I do not like. I hate to disagree with people because it makes me feel bad for them. But I do not like that Anya Bird. I hate that Anya Bird can sing. That you asked me what my least favorite outtake is. Anya Bird can sing with the stupid giggling. It is stupid, and I can't stand it. Not because I don't like laughing and joy. There's if you ever hear the outtake of this boy, they're laughing in this boy, but it's not. It doesn't sound like they're just out of their minds. It sounds like they're laughing about nothing in here. So it's like they sound. And Anya Bird can sing giggling take. They just sound like they're so freaking high that they don't even know what the hell they're laughing at. But anyway, favorite outtake of the ones that are released. I mean, I like stuff like "You Gotta Hide Your Love Away" outtake. I like "I'll Be Back." The outtakes and I'll Be Back 8 days a week. The ones that are on Anthology 1 and 2. Good afternoon. Are the 70s my favorite decade for movies? It's impossible to nail that down because I like movies in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s most. Later on, I like some in the 90s and everything, but it's hard to say my favorite decade. It really is. Sometimes I say the 50s are my favorite, the 30s or 40s, and then other times 60s and 70s. So I really can't. That's one question I've never been able to answer because I like so many different movies from so many different decades. Subtitles are great if you're a writer. You get a sense of how to write for film, I think. Okay. Speaking of dub voices, it might be good to dub in the Beatles characters sound more like they really sounded. Now, that doesn't bother me. Okay. I'm driving people nuts here with these kind of inconsistent opinions. But in the case of the Beatles cartoons, I'm fine with them sounding just the way they did. Okay. Because it's a cartoon, for God's sake. It's all right. You know what I mean? The only voice I have a problem with in a cartoon, if I have to pick one, is George's voice. That's the only voice but Paul's voice is fine in the cartoon. I even think John's voice is okay, even though it's nothing like the real John, but it works for the character, for that cartoon character. It works. And Ringo, the lovable clown, silly voice, is fine for his role as the cartoon character. He's kind of doofy, you know. Rules of the Game is the film that influenced Wells before he made Citizen Kane. Have you been watching the NBA play? I've never watched a game of basketball in my life. Couldn't care less. The only thing I could say about basketball is I don't hate it as much as I hate football. Uh, so the Revolver box has the other version of Anya Bird can sing without the giggling. Sounds pretty good. I'll leave my kitten alone. Yeah, I know people who would agree with you on that. It's a good outtake. A lot of people say, "Oh, they should have released Leave My Kitten Alone." Yes and no. I understand why they didn't. It's not a perfected take. You know, I mean, I enjoy it for what it is, which is a fun outtake. But I don't know if that particular version, if I want them to put it on the album. The lyrics aren't really great either. Yes, I've listened to the outtake "A Good Night" with Ringo and the rest of the group. It's very, very touching and moving. I like it. Very touching and moving. Do you listen to music wearing headphones or on speakers? I try never to use headphones. I really only like speakers. It's not very practical here in this place that I live. In this place, I have to really, if I'm going to listen, I most often have to use headphones. Favorite Brando film? If I go with The Godfather, you're going to say, "Oh, figures, typical." The Godfather. I mean, I saw Streetcar Named Desire. Um, I saw On the Waterfront. I have those reviews written down sometime. Maybe one day I'm in the process now of looking at my old reviews and doing reviews of old films that I've written down over at my movie channel. But I'm going to go with The Godfather right now. I mean, I haven't seen enough. Yeah, I like that bit. See, I don't mind a little joking and laughing here and there when you make a mistake and no reply, laugh. That's fine. Okay, he should watch WNBA. Those girls play with a better effort than the NBA. The Godfather and On the Waterfront. Okay, well, here's the question. Do you like the slower three-quarter demo version of I'll Be Back or the more finished sounding take that appears later in Anthology 1? Uh, the more finished sounding one. You mean when they do like the waltz, the one that sounds like a waltz, I don't like. When they're trying to waltz their way through it, I don't like that. I mean, obviously neither did they, because they eventually picked it up a little bit. Okay. Speaking of the anthology series, it's looking like we might see a re-release of those albums. Plan on buying them? Well, if they're the same, if they're exactly the same as the ones that we've had, no, I wouldn't buy them. If they're different, I'll buy them. I think that's where I stand right now. I really enjoy the outtake. I got to get you into my life on the Revolver anniversary set. I almost like it better than the original. It's interesting. I did not watch Last Tango in Paris yet, but I bought it cheap recently for like $5. It was either $3 or $5, but it was cheap. So I bought it. So eventually I'll see Last Tango in Paris. I haven't seen it yet. Okay. I could have been a contender. Stella. It's hot in here, folks. I don't know. It's hot. Look, I can see my face shining here. It is hot in here. Matthew Smith, if you're listening, he is listening. He's right there. I will still take it over to freaking freeze. Better than sitting here going, freezing my onions off. All I got to do is put the air conditioner on in the living room, open this door, and the air will come in. Anyway, but I am thinking of going soon, folks. I don't want to keep it much longer. Thank you very much. Thank you for checking it out and participating. Next time, say hello next time. Nothing wrong with The Godfather, one of the best films ever. On the Waterfront for me, though. It's been a long time since I saw it. I got to check my notes on it. I think I liked it. No, I've never seen The Freshman. I know, yeah. Yeah, I know about it. I'm back. Just been on the phone to my brother confirming tomorrow's drinking session. Do what you like. I never understood that. Anybody watching me who for a while knows, I don't know. I never get the idea we're just going to get together to drink and get drunk. I never understood that. There's lots of fun to be had without getting drunk. I've never understood it. But then again, that's what happens when you like all these kinds of things. You get high on this stuff. This made me high as a kid. I didn't need anything. Or High Noon. Get High Noon with Gary Cooper. Get high at that. But Whatever works for you, man. I know you do, Matthew. I know you love fall and winter. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna go now, folks. So thank you. Okay, yeah, it's getting hot in here. I'm gonna go out. The air conditioner's out there. Um, Next time I'll open the door and get some air in here. All right. So anyway, folks, yeah, I'm stopping now. See you next time. And there may be a time when I do it early. Sometimes I was here yesterday morning. I just 7:30 in the morning. I just felt like going on. So you never know about that. So please make sure you subscribe to my other channel, my Mr. Cinemayo channel, because we're going to be doing shows there live with a group. We do them every time on Monday, but the times do vary. Sometimes it's 7 p.m. Eastern, sometimes it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern, different times. So we're going to be doing that. And yeah, I always appreciate coming here and touching base with everybody. That's what I like to do. And I'll be talking to you soon. You can bet your life on that. So have a good day, night, morning.